Hi guys, I just wanted to go over Chgg with you, ticker Chgg, and review what I saw that turned my $20 calls into $140 per contract. Unfortunately, I didn't have a lot of cash left because I was heavily into Redbox. But I did have $40 that I turned into $280, and it should have been over $300, but I got played again by Robinhood. I'll show you what happened. Going to show you so you see that I'm not giving you BS, that this actually can happen. And stay till the end because I want you to see what I analyze in the 1348 review of Chgg on the daily chart and on the 5-minute chart, because it'll show you what I saw that made me buy this and what I'm still seeing on that chart that will make me play this regularly. And I also give you a review of the 1348 because I'm going to keep repeating that since that's what I use to trade. So when you guys follow me on Twitter, I'm calling these out and you understand what it is that I'm seeing making me make this call so you can find this play yourself. Additionally, it's very important that you familiarize yourself with Chgg so that when I am discussing it and when I see these types of plays, you know the chart and you know what I'm looking at. So please, if you like what you see, then like. If you haven't already, please subscribe and share this video because it really helps, guys. Nobody knows who I am on YouTube because I am a new channel. I've only been up for a week. So if you could help spread the word, I really want people to be educated, and hopefully through education they can become empowered and be able to find these plays on their own. So I'm going to show you first my actual receipts, and so you know I'm not full of it, and then I'm going to show you exactly what I saw. So guys, since these have been sold, I can just get the order that is my woohoo, your order to buy to open 2 contracts of Chgg, 1750 calls for June 17th has been filled at an average price of $20 per contract. Your order is complete. So this was my purchase order. Now guys, here comes the order where I'm very annoyed because I have an order to sell these for $150 per contract in place when the price was $17. And I told you, I warned you all, and please, if you haven't already, watch my Robinhood video and on why I hate them. This is one of the many reasons why, because they do this every single week, and I cannot stand them. I need to get out of that platform and not let convenience, you know, be my god of keeping them, because it's not good at all. And they're a horrible, horrible platform because they should have easily filled at $150 1 hour prior to closing, and they didn't. And I tried before that too, even when it was up, and they just weren't selling them because they waited for this dip, took away my ability, you know, my order that I had in place, and automatically filled it at this low fill. This is what they do, guys. They drop the price and then it instantly goes up, because I'll show you, you'll see in the chart exactly what I was seeing. I knew that price was going to go up, but I also knew they were going to pull this stunt, so shame on me. But this is my receipt from my sell, and as you can see, they sold me out. As part of our option sellout process, we've placed an order to sell to close 2 contracts of Chgg 1750 call for June 17th. This order has been filled at an average price of $140 per contract. Guys, it should have sold at the $150 per contract. Yeah, I know, it's still great money. You know what? I took $20 and I 7x'd it per contract, so I should be happy with that. I'm just not happy with how they do things on that platform. But let's get into this and look at the charts. Play that I called out that I ended up buying options on Thursday afternoon. I had noticed that Chgg was about to make a 1348 crossover on the intraday 5-minute chart, which is what I have pulled up in front of me because I'm going to show you what drew my attention to this call. As you can see here, back on Thursday, we had a dip where the 13 crossed below. The 13 is the green, guys, and the 48 is the purple. So the 13 SMA crossed below the 48. This would be a sell indicator to anyone day trading the stock. What I was watching for was the 13 to come and cross back above the 48. And I know this ticker pretty well, and I know that sometimes it can start running in pre-market or in after hours, but generally, you know, first thing in the morning, if it's going to run, sometimes you'll see some movement. So what I decided was it was very close, just kind of like hugging this at the end of the day. As you can see, I think I mentioned that I was watching for the 1348 crossover somewhere around 2:30, 3 o'clock, maybe even 3:30. I don't remember exactly, but I knew that this play was coming, and I was pretty confident that it was going to make its move because I was also watching the SPY at the same time. So generally, if I'm going to day trade the stock, I would actually wait until this point here where it physically made the crossover. But whereas I was confident that it was going to make a move up based on my knowledge of this ticker, I decided at the end of day on Thursday to go ahead and purchase contracts for 20 call options for the 1750 strike for $2. I'm sorry, for 20, it was $20. It was 20 cents per share, so $20 for a contract, okay? So each contract cost me $20, guys. And exactly as I suspected, the 13 in the morning on Friday crossed above the 48, and you saw this nice, beautiful run that it just had all day long. I think I sent you guys a tweet somewhere around here because I saw it consolidating, and actually this probably would have been the best time to make my exit, but I had a feeling it was going to continue its move up, which I was right about, except that I had Friday expirations, and unfortunately they were on Robinhood, which, as you guys probably are all aware by now, I am not a fan of. I just feel trapped because they are so convenient with giving you instant access to your money to buy options with. But guys, I have to get out of there because, as usual, this is what they do. As you can see here, we were trading, you know, at $19. Again, there were 1750 call options. So being above the 19, guys, that was like $165, I think, when I sent out that tweet, or $160, because that's where it was bouncing between per share on it. I mean, per contract on a $20 contract. Guys, that is like amazing gains. So unfortunately, though, I knew that, well, I suspected, I'm not going to say I knew, I suspected that this consolidation was going to lead to its next move up, which is exactly what it did. So I decided to wait it out and wait for this play. Well, unfortunately, Robinhood being the crappy app that it is, I decided when it hit $1.50 a share, so $150 per contract, that I put in a sell order. You know what they did, guys? They dumped it out, dipped the price, and sold my contracts at $140 each. I mean, it's still great gains, but kind of annoying considering I didn't listen to myself and get out here because I knew that this move was about to happen and was praying it was going to happen before that 3 o'clock period. And it didn't make that move until end of day. But in hindsight, what I learned from that was that on Robinhood, where you know they're going to sell you out at 3 o'clock, you just got to be smarter and beat them at their own game. What I should have done at that point was sold my calls and bought new ones for the next week because I would have captured that gain on them. Okay, hindsight's 20/20. I'm not going to beat myself up about it. No big deal. It was still an amazing gain, and I just wanted you guys to see what I based that move on. And I also want to show you this stock can be an amazing stock to trade. You know, whether it's commons, you know, actual shares, or whether you're playing options on it, because it tends to have these pretty decent sized moves when it runs. So it's something to keep on your watch list. And I just want to take a minute and show you the 1 year chart on it, because there's some very interesting things that I have been watching for a long time as I ride this wave of ups and downs in this stock. So let me pull it. Okay, so this is the 1 year chart on Chgg, and it's the daily chart. As you can see, the high on Chgg was about $90.50. Yep, $90.50, which is this candlestick right here, back on July 29th of 2021. Okay, now, like I said, this is an extremely volatile stock, but again, I want you to follow this 13 it's crossing below all higher moving averages, indicating, and it even crosses over that purple 48 right here, indicating that it's going to go in a downtrend. All right. So people who were up here, I wasn't playing the stock anywhere near these levels, had a sell signal right here. Okay. If they were familiar with the 1348 moving averages, or they were just a swinger day trader, they should have known that this was an indicator to leave, especially as this continued to cross below the higher moving averages. It's just a key indicator that, guys, get out. I don't know any simpler way to put it, but this is how you learn. So for anyone that has been in this since way back here, which I hope none of you have been, because you should have been out by now for sure. But it's important that if you were, you learn from your mistakes too. So I'm trying to show you that this would have been your signal, you know, as it started falling here, to get out. As it crossed below the 200, that's definitely a key warning, because it's crossing below a major indicator. But where I trade is a 1348 moving average. So even right here, and again, I wasn't playing this, but here at, let's see, around $80, people should have been out of this play. So anyone that wrote it and had this horrible earnings, which is actually where I first heard about this stock, because this wasn't even on my radar. But sometimes I screen for stocks that, you know, have huge fallings or huge, you know, raises, and I try to figure out what's going on with them and decide based on what I find whether or not that wants to be a stock that I'm going to trade. Because usually when it has a fall like it had here, it's extremely volatile. And guys, it created a massive gap that has yet to be filled. So if we look at this candle right here, as you can see at the top of the screen in the left-hand corner, the high of that candlestick was $63.12, and the low was $59.59. So $59.59 is the low this day. Guys, it dropped to the next candle, which had a high of $39.34. So that gap of $39.34 to $59 and change still needs to be filled. This has not been filled yet, which is why I really have my eyes on Chgg, because when it does fill, I want to capture it. So anyways, as you can see, it's had some volatility. Back here, we actually did get a 1348 crossover, but guys, it failed. As you can see, it wasn't very long before it crossed back under again. And this has just been kind of like riding a wave. If you like to day trade a stock, this is a great one to follow, because you can ride it down and you can ride it back up. So as you see, it crossed back below the 1348 here. Boom, down, crossed back above here. And ride it up to about here if you're swinging it, because again, remember, these are one-day moves. But again, look at these candles that you can capture even in one day if you're day trading. You know, there's several dollars. You know, on average, I would say this moves anywhere between 50 cents and $2 in any given day, for the most part, from what I've seen while I've been following this. So you just have to see what trend it's setting in that day and try to follow it if you want to day trade it. Or you can, you know, you can catch these moves on the 5-minute chart, which is what I use to capture them. But again, this is the 1-year chart. And I'm showing it to you because I want to point out the 1348 so you get used to seeing them. So again, here you have the crossover. The green is crossing above the purple, okay? And goes all the way back there, continues, has a, you know, it doesn't even dip. This is the 20 moving average right here. Doesn't dip for all this time. Could have rode that all the way up if you were swinging it, right? Until you get to here. Then you get the 1348 where it crosses back below. Guys, it had another huge gap. Again, this was another earnings. And believe it or not, I think this earnings was even a beat. It just had bad guidance. Like, it was actually a significant, I don't know, significant, but in this market, it was a beat. And it still got just inebriated. Look at this. You got another one here from the candle's low was 24.06. And it dipped all the way down to like, I think it was like $17 or $18 that day. Its low was, it opened at 1573. It had a low of 1566 and a high of 1818, which I actually wrote up that day and this day too. But again, guys, it's just been very, very volatile. So anyways, in watching, you can see on the daily chart was where I made my move in this. But now I'm watching because these moving averages are getting these higher. This is the 200 here. There's our 48, which if I were to put the 50 on it, they would be pretty much neck and neck with the 48 and the 50 together. So, and then here you have the 13s now crossed above the 20, just slightly here. So this is definitely worth keeping on your list of stocks to watch, and you'll hear me talk about it frequently because I love riding it up and down. So I tend to ride it more up than I do down because I feel like this company's just been beaten up, and I tend to anyways like to go long versus short. So on its down days, I'll just ignore it. But if you like to go in both directions, which I highly suggest you do, by all means, this is a great stock. And again, you have these two gap fills here and here that still haven't been filled. So I think that we're going to continue to see a lot of volatility in this name, and I think it's great for day trading. And in this market, it's important that you find names like this. So whether you hear me call out the 13 crossing above the 48, whether you decide to play commons or options, this is one to keep your eye on. And again, when I'm calling that 1348, I'm calling it out on the intraday 5-minute chart if you're setting it. And I use the simple moving average, the SMA, okay? Because I find it to be more accurate. So just a heads up, because this is a name that I'll be calling out a lot, so I wanted to just familiarize you guys with the chart. And again, those options, yeah, I ended up getting jacked a little, but I still turned $20 per contract into $140 per contract. So that's 7 times my investment, guys, in by holding an option play overnight. So it's pretty amazing to think about. But anyways, hope you all have a great night. Now you're familiar with Chgg, so when you hear me calling out that 1348, you know what to look for. Have a great night, guys.